Good afternoon, everybody. And my name is Jessica. I'm an undergraduate student at the University of Namibia. I study mathematics and computer science, and I'm also a school teacher. I teach grades between ages of 13 to 16. And I'm also the chair of Python Namibia. Today I want to talk about our school outreach program and what we did as PYNAM during the 2 years that we have been in existence. This picture was taken on the 4th day of the very first Python conference that we held in Namibia. And this is when we started PYNAM, which is short for Python Namibia. Even though we look good and happy and all that, when this conference was finished, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what was the next step that we had to do. We never used Python before, all of us. It was the first time that we worked with Python. And then we initiated this society, but we didn't know what to do next or what we were getting ourselves into. So we sat down and we went through what our values were, what was important to us, and what role we wanted to play in the society. So what we concluded after this was that we wanted to work more with the children. We wanted to encourage them to go into computer studies and all that. So we initiated the school outreach program. That was our biggest goal. Okay, so when we started, we visited several schools. We called different schools, and some of them didn't want us at their schools, and others wanted us, so they welcomed us and we visited the schools. During the school outreach program, we speak to the learners. We encourage them about computer studies or what it's about and the career choices that you have in the course. And we also wrote small programs that we showed to the learners just to encourage them and show them what you can do when you start programming. And some of them didn't understand what it was, but some were very curious and they wanted to see more and all that. So this motivated us to even go beyond just visiting them and talking to them. So the following year, we did more research. We got more involved with the schools. We spoke to the teachers and several learners. And we had one very big discovery after we spoke to them. Computer studies was being phased out in some of the schools. And this was a big shock to us because, I mean, in a world where everything is computerized, why would you phase out computer studies in a school? That was very shocking to us. So we wanted to learn more, and luckily I got a job as a school teacher. So now I could experience the whole experience and not just hear what people were saying about it. After we did more research, we found that this phasing out of the subject was being caused by two main factors. One of them is that there's a lack of qualified teachers to teach the course. And generally in Namibia, we have a lack of teachers due to other factors affecting it in the country. But in this course particularly, there are two types of teachers that are being employed because of the lack of the teachers. We have teachers that are just coming out as undergraduate students who studied computer science related courses like IT or computer science or whatever. But they are not qualified as teachers by profession. Then we also have the teachers that were qualified as teachers by profession, but they are not qualified as computer studies teachers per se. Okay, so now with the first one, which is just an undergraduate student coming from university, having had done IT and all that, they do understand the concept or the content of the work that has to be delivered to the learners, but then they don't know how to deal with the psychological part of the whole job. So they wouldn't really know how to deal with the learners, how to set up question papers properly appropriate for which grade and which grade. So these affect how we deliver the content to the learners. And the second type of teacher is the teacher that is just put into the job because there's no other teacher that can teach the subject. Okay, so they don't really understand the content. And some of these teachers would fit in properly and just start, teaching well, understand the content and so forth. But then others would struggle to understand the content, and that means that they will not even challenge the learners as they should. And that also means that some because they don't understand certain topics, they would not teach those topics because they don't want to look stupid in front of the learners. So those are a lot of the challenges that we face in our education system. And then the biggest of those challenges is also that we don't have functional computer labs at our schools. And this situation has worsened in the government schools because now our education is free. So there's not a lot of money flow in the schools. But private schools are okay, they have computers and their learners are okay. But in our government school, some have a couple of computers, they can still do their work, but some, like the school where I work, we don't really have computers that are functioning. But at the end of the day, the content or the curriculum has to be covered, whether we have computers or not, because the grade 10 learners, they write a national exam, and they are all evaluated as if they had computers throughout their career. But in our case, our learners don't really have computers. So what we do at my school is that there is a library at the school, very small library, and they had a couple of computers. So I borrowed some of their screens and keyboards and so forth. And also at the conference at the beginning of the year, what we did was we received 8 Raspberry Pis. So I used those Raspberry Pis in my class. I set them up, and then if I give them like a worksheet to do or a project to do, so those learners that are having computers at home, I encourage them to use their computers at home. And those that are not having computers at home, I stay for a couple of hours after school and they do their work with the Pis and all that. And then we also have learners that are like in a hostel or I think in boarding school for you guys, I'm not sure. But yeah, those ones also don't have computers, so they come and work on the Pis after school. The other thing also that we do at my school is that I have been very lucky to have a good relationship with the universities at my school. So they allow us to come and use their labs during the weekends when they don't really have a lot of things happening. So I invite some classes to come, and then we work on Saturdays and on Sundays. This is a good thing, but the challenge is that the learners don't show up. I invited 2 classes of 71 learners, and more than half did not show up. So it's like they are pulling me in different ways. I'm trying to help, but they are not showing up. Some don't even have money to be able to come, so like I don't know what to do. I also get help, so sometimes I don't think it's healthy for the learners to hear my voice from Monday to Tuesday to Friday, Saturday, and the whole of Saturday and the whole of Sunday. So I invite some of my colleagues to come and talk to them and teach them in their own way and all that. So we make it a little bit fun. And the result of this is happiness, as you can see here. So yeah, we also try at the school, I try to involve the learners in things that are not just classroom oriented. I want them to be exposed to other things also so that they see what's out there. So with PYNAM, we had a mini workshop at the university one Saturday, and 3 of my learners gave talks. So this is part of the pictures that we had that was having learners. And some of us struggled a lot with the workshop that was the Django workshop. Yes, so other things that we also do is that I collected or I gathered a couple of my learners, and we participated in a national programming competition that was held by one of our universities. 7 schools participated in this competition, and we got a silver medal during this. We came second to a private school, so I was like, you know, we the Pythonistas. So yeah, so that's us. That's our team. We were very happy. The school didn't even expect to win because they were like, how did you guys do this? Like, how did you guys do this? And the thing, how we got into this competition was that we didn't know about it before. And one of my colleagues from another school got an invitation letter from the university. So she was like, Jessica, are you participating in the programming competition? And I'm like, what programming competition? She's like, no, from the University of Science and Technology. We got an invitation letter. I'm like, I didn't get an invitation letter. Why would they not invite me? So the following day, I went to the university. I spoke to those people, and they gave me an invitation letter. I took it to the principal, and then we took part in the competition. And that was a month before the competition took place. So I trained these learners without any they had no Python or programming knowledge before that, and they managed to get second place. So this motivates me to work so hard for them. Okay, so they started a programming team. So we want to invite other schools to be a part of the team, but we don't have a place where we can train them. Like for us ourselves as a school, we don't have a place, a stable place where we can practice Python. So our goal as a society is to one day maybe have a place where we can have computers, even 30 or so, and maybe invite other schools to come and join us, because it doesn't make sense for me to want to talk to other schools and say, you know, join Python, practice Python, if we don't have a place where they can practice, because the learners don't have computers, but adults do. So with adults, it's easy for you to deal with the situation, but with learners, it's difficult because they don't have computers. They have no place to practice. So maybe one day we'll have a place of our own where we can give them that opportunity. This whole thing led to an idea called the Computer Day. We wanted to host this day to raise funds for the lab of this school. And we wanted to host this day during this year, but we sent out sponsorship letters to local companies. And unfortunately, we didn't get very good response. So we wanted to extend the day so that we maybe talk to them and try to encourage them to participate, because some claim that the idea is not, it's a good initiative, but it's not a big enough idea for people to start using their product or things like that. So yeah, so March next year we are hosting our day. We will be selling tickets and so forth, and maybe we will have enough money to sponsor our lab at this school. During this day, what we want to do is that we want to, we have encouraged the learners to come up with ideas, and they have sent in their proposals. So what I'll be doing is that we meet on Saturday, and we try to develop these softwares. We have other people involved, like the Raspberry Pi in our country. They want to also get a small group, create some weather simulation, something, and then they showcase on that day. And we have involved the universities also, so we are hoping that some of the people will come and help us develop some of these softwares. Because these kids really came up with amazing ideas, and one of them was that one of them wanted a solution of, if I have a pet in my house and I want to go out for the weekend and I have nobody to take care of my pet, how would I come up with a machine that will detect that there's no food in the bucket and no water in the bucket, and then release water or food in the bucket? So some of these ideas, I don't even know how it will be possible. But if maybe you guys come along, maybe in Namibia or so forth, you can see how much progress we've made and maybe be involved or whatever. So yeah, that's what we are doing in Namibia. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Jessica. It's wonderful to see a speaker so passionate about their subject. If we do have any questions, we've got a few minutes to take some, so if you'd like to form a queue at the microphone, and please try to keep them nice and brief, and we'll get in as many as we can.
So, hi Jessica. I really enjoyed that. Well done. That was really, really fantastic. I think the question that I have is, there's a wide community of Pythonistas right here and who will be watching a recording of your talk. And so I suppose what I'm asking is, what can we as a community, as a Python community, do to help?
As I mentioned earlier, there are people willing to work and teach these children and motivate these children and make them see what's out there in the world. There are people in the country who are willing to teach them, like myself and the whole PYNAM community. But we don't have the facilities. If we could get a place, if we could get somebody to sponsor a place for us where we can sit and do programming, then that would be a good start. That would be a good start. And also maybe some people can come in and have talks with the learners in the classes. When you're on your holiday or whatever, you can come and talk to the learners and encourage them and show them maybe the softwares that you have created, because we want them to see what's out there, what is possible. Because us, we have not done too much to show them. So maybe you guys can come in and show what you have produced. So, yeah.
Jessica, you said you would, this is what you'd achieved in 2 years, but I should point out you've done it actually quite a bit less than 2 years. It's, it's really impressive. And what I'd like to ask is, where do you see this project and these young people in 5 or 10 years' time in Namibia? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be software developers in Namibia, do you think? Do you think that Namibia is ready to have a software industry of its own that these young people will be starting?
It's difficult to say where it will be in 10 years, but what we hope for is to be able to have things that we create ourselves, to have a strong IT community, to be able to create phones of our own, or even create good softwares like Twitter or Facebook and so forth. We just want people to have the opportunity to learn things so that they can create good software. That's what we want to achieve at the end of the day.
You want a place?
Yes.
You just want a place?
And computers.
So what does that cost?
How does?
What does that cost? I can't give you a place. I don't live in Namibia. You need a place to just put kids together to learn. So what does that cost? I can give you money, but I can't give you a place.
I don't know yet, but I can find it out
You
for you.
you tell us what it costs, and people can get together and make that a reality. Because that's important what you're doing.
Thank you.
Hi Jessica, my name's Ian. I'm a teacher in the UK here, so I very much share the work that you're doing out there and fully understand where you're going. One of the things, apart from the money, we had a day here yesterday where we had an education track, and some of us teachers were talking to some of the developers here about sharing good practice and sharing ideas and having a space where people who are trying to educate children could ask questions from any level down there right to any level up there. So when you've got students beginning and you're not really sure and you're starting out down there, or whether your students are right up here and they need extension beyond where you are at that stage. And I'm just wondering whether that would be of some use to you as well in terms of support ongoing, where worldwide developers and educators could share a space to talk.
I'm not sure if I heard your question well.
No, it's my fault, it's very long-winded. Would it be useful to you to have a space where educators, teachers, and developers could talk at any level with no question too silly or too trivial, no question too difficult?
Like if we had a place, we would
Online.
use... Online.
A way of discussing ideas, would that be useful to you?
That will be useful, yes.
Okay.
That will be useful. We haven't created a platform yet, but that will be definitely useful. Because I think also, like in that case that I said that some teachers are not really qualified to be computer studies teachers, they don't really understand the content, developers could come in and also, you know, help them understand the learners, the content, and then deliver the content in a better way, because they are willing to help. That's why they came from being qualified only as an English teacher and teaching computer studies. They are willing to help. But they cannot control the fact that, I don't understand, I don't have any background of programming. It will be difficult for them. And the time might not be on their side. But if developers came in and spoke to them and trained them and all that, we could solve some of these problems.
And
so that could be useful as well.
And may I ask subsequently, do you have a curriculum that you're following? Do you have a course laid out that you're already delivering?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
There are no more questions. I think all that's left is to give Jessica here a huge round of applause and to thank her for coming all this way.